Hello YouTube, back once again with my TV reviews, and tonight I watched the series premiere of the sequel series to Heroes Reborn, and yeah, let's talk about this. Now, before I get into it, let me say I did watch the original series of Heroes when it aired. What did I think of it? I'm with most people. First two seasons are fantastic. They're just great look versions of the whole like, what if people with superpowers exist in the real world and there was no like X-Men team? These were just people who just want to keep to themselves. Like people weren't even aware that there were people with powers existed, and first two seasons are great. Rest of the series just instantly, then the series instantly somehow went to crap from that. So yeah, and then I did not care at all, like most people did, when this series ended on a cliffhanger in season four. Just like it was kind of like, I don't care. Who gives a damn at this point? But anyway, but here we are with the sequel series, picking up. I think it's 5 years after the end of the 5 years after, it's either a year or 5 years. Maybe it's 5 years. Like 5 years after the end of the original series, in which at the end, when Claire, the cheerleader, revealed to the entire world that people with powers existed, and now like it's a well-known fact that they're out there, and then like the series picks up like 5 years later, essentially there's this giant terrorist attack at this convention thing that was supposed to like bridge like the people with powers and to just like regular people, like show them like we're just people. There's a terrorist attack, killed so many people, and now people with powers are either in hiding or being hunted by like either the government or just people who don't like them, like just racism essentially. And yeah, because it works so well. That plotline worked out so well when they did in the original series run. But yeah, that's the premise, and then it's just a bunch of, yeah, how you would expect an episode's heroes to go. Bunch of different people around the world and just their stories unfolding. So, yeah, let's get into this. Okay, let's just go through this character area by character area, I guess, because, I'll say which were good and which were bad. So, probably the worst this one was, probably the worst story was, there was one with like this guy who's like an army vet who's like proclaimed a hero even though he doesn't seem to have powers. Yeah, that was a huge weird thing about this season for a series premiere for Heroes, a show that mainly had heroes, and like even if there wasn't a character like without superpowers in the show, usually they were a side character to a main character who had powers. Not in this though. A lot of characters who seem to be main characters do not have powers in this, but anyway, I digress. But anyway, this is probably the worst storyline. The guy, like, there's this army vet who's like proclaimed a hero for what he did during service, like he saved 3 men's lives, and he returns back to his hometown, learns his friend is a vigilante who gets killed in like the first like 20 minutes or so. And just the guy right before he's dead, just like, you can be hero, and it felt like watching a shitty episode of Arrow. That it honestly, even the costume looked like the Arrow costume to a certain degree. It had like it had a hood, like it had like a mask. I was like, this all feels like a really shitty episode of Arrow right now, and really boring stuff, not the least bit interesting. Just that entire plot line just felt so who gives a shit. Like, so there's that. The other major storylines was there was the one with Zachary Levi, or Levy, as I say his name, Chuck from Chuck. Yeah, I gotta say, for a guy who was marketed so much for the fact he was gonna be in this show, he really doesn't do much in the premiere, I gotta say. Basically, you learn him and his crazy wife, like, they lost their son during the, terrorist attack in, like, the opening of the show. And, also, I like the small touch in the background. You can just see in the bed, someone's watching a television about the attack, and then, like, they just say it's Mohinder. I was like, oh, that's a fun little callback for fans of the show, and, the original show. And, but there's that, and but besides that, it's just So, besides that, he really doesn't do much. Like, him and his wife, they're just on a killing spree, trying to kill as many heroes as possible, and that's really it. Not much really happens with them. They just shoot people, and that's about it. That is about it. Really boring stuff. My guess is even though he did not, neither of his wife has seemed to have powers. My guess though is they will play the trump card that turns out that Zachary Levi does have powers. So there's that. Very boring, not the least of it. Not interesting at all. So then, and I gotta say, for people with powers, they see very. And you saw one had super speed. They were very outsmarted with the power of guns. So God, and there was one that could shoot fire from his hands. Just don't get it. And so that's why I'm thinking. Does Zachary Levi have powers? Is that going to be a major plot twist? But there was that plot line once again, not very interesting. Who else? Probably the main plot line this show seems to be built on is the one of Noah Bennett who returns to he started a new life. It's supposed to be Claire's dead apparently, but he can't remember anything. She died during the terrorist attack, but he can't remember anything about that day, which is explained because he got his memories, or the memory eraser guy erased his memories, and since then he's basically just walked away from his life in the company. He's just living just a quiet life by himself until a guy approaches him saying like he needs help with something, and like now they learn that there's going to be a big apocalyptic event, and God, did his plotline stretch. Literally so little is happening with him. Just it's so long and so drawn out, and you're just so freaking bored. It is like melodramatic as all hell. Like you were just it was okay though, because like at least it was kind of fun seeing him again, like Noah Bennett again. But that was about it. It was still pretty damn boring. But I gotta say this, like the whole thing is supposed to be Claire's dead. Well, isn't the whole thing that she couldn't be killed unless they shoved something into the back of her head? Wasn't that the whole major thing about her character in the original series? So my guess is, and they start to find clues that she may not be dead, or they don't actually know the events of her death. My guess is, at the very end of the series, I forget what the actress's name is, Claire is, but she's gonna cameo at the very end of the series, like for a brief second. That's my guess, but that's that. And, yeah, then there was this insanely brief thing like with like another girl who was like prominently featured on the posters of this show, and like in the trailer you see she's like controlling like the northern lights and like trying to stop what she says like is like this apocalyptic event, like the one Noah Bennett heard about. She shows up for like all of like 2 seconds of this in this episode. It just cuts to her, you see her controlling the northern lights. She says like it's coming faster than I thought, and I was like, wow, I thought it for 2 hours, like, of television. It's not like these were the first 2 episodes back to back. This, like, most 2-hour series premiere are. No, this was 2 hour episode, and you're just, it was so shockingly brief how little she was in it, and, well, that brings me to another thing, though. I was so expecting, like, I bet with myself, like, right before, like, I started watching this, like, okay, like, they're, like, marketing so much that they may actually get the actor who plays Hero back to, as a supporting role in this show, like, not that big of a role. My guess is this episode ends with Noah Bennett running into future Hero. Future Hero is going to bring Noah Bennett to, like, the girl at the Northern Lights at the event of the apocalyptic event. He's gonna then bring Noah to the future and show the destruction it will cause, and then it would be Hero saying like, we did save the cheerleader. I was so expecting that to be the end, because that's usually how it goes in Heroes. Well, that's how it went for the 2 good seasons of Heroes, when like the premiere ended with them seeing the apocalyptic event they had to stop. So, but no, yeah, no, that didn't happen. So all you... And so you don't know what this event is, which really does lessen its impact. You don't know what it's going to do, how much damage it's going to cause. They just say, it's coming. You need to know what it is, though. Like, that was like one of the best things about the first season of Heroes, like how like one of the how Hero like unintentionally like, saw the nuclear bombing of New York City, and then they're like, okay, we gotta stop this. Like you had the clear goal to go for the second season, where like the virus you saw at the end that there was a virus that destroys humanity, and you're just like, okay, they know what they have to stop now, but not so much here. Yeah, that is a real issue. If they don't say by the next episode what this event is, it's really needs to just say it right out what it's gonna be. So, there's that. Other storylines. The other two storylines, though, were actually pretty decent. One was decent, one was good. Let me do I'm actually gonna say the good one first, because the decent one I think is only decent because it's so intriguingly insane. I want to say that one last. So first, like for the actual good storyline, you saw this kid, like a 16 or 17-year-old in high school, very much reminiscent of like Claire's storyline from the original series, in which like he is also on the run from the on the run, he hiding his powers and all that, and hiding his powers, and there's that, and he's hiding his powers, and there, like, it's actually kind of he goes to a group meeting where he meets Zachary Levi, who ends up, or Levy, I'm just gonna call him Levy, Chuck, I'm just calling him Chuck, and then he meets Chuck, but he leaves right before Chuck and his wife start shooting everyone. So then Chuck and his wife ends up tracking him down, and to save a girl he clearly has the hots for, he ends up using his power, which is he can transport things to wherever he's thinking of, and yeah, he gets rid of Chuck and his wife, and then it's just a very nice plot line. Like then like the girl he has the hots for is like befriends him, and like she helps him like figure out his powers, and just like, let me help you, like I promise I won't tell anyone, like you can, like you don't have to run from it, I'm like and then like it was just a lot of nice sweet moments, and just nice character interaction. Just, like I said, very much reminiscent of the first season of Heroes with Claire. So, that was actually a good storyline. I actually liked watching that. I want to see where that goes with that kid. And you also learned that the kid was brought in by the company at one point when he, so there's that. Oh wait, there was a plotline I forgot to mention because it was another so brief and shockingly short storyline. There's this woman. She goes to a bar. She pisses off a guy who has Siler's power, which like he can like. He's telekinetic. And just throws stuff with his mind, and then they kill her. Him and his girlfriend appear to kill that woman. I was just like, well, that happened. Yeah, whatever. Okay, now let's talk about the last plot line, though, because this plot line actually really fascinates me with just how weird and nonsensical it seems. Anyone who's seen this may have heard of this. Essentially what happens is it starts off, it's this Asian gamer guy, he goes into a, apartment building in Tokyo, and he finds like a girl just sitting there, and the girl looks very much like an anime hero kind of character, and then he says like, no wait, I know, like I was told to come here because like I hit this level on a game that nobody else has ever hit, and then she was like, wait, what? And then like he's like, yeah, I'm serious, and then he's just like, oh wait, I know you, you're like this girl from this comic book right here, and so right now the question is is she like a real person, or is she a real person made from the comic book, or is the comic book like telling the future like how the comics did in the original series? I don't know at the moment. But then she finds a sword which transports her to the video game world the guy was talking about, where she's trying to find her father in it. And the CGI of the video game world is so bad, it does not look anywhere near as good as a modern video game does. I hate that when television shows do that nowadays. and just making games look so worse than they actually are. And then she learns that whatever happens to her in the game, like, happens to her in real life. Like, she gets bonked in the head, she'll like be like take a bad head wound in real life, and she transports this world by taking the sword in and out of its sight. When it's out, she's in the gaming world. When it's in, she's in the normal world. And this thing though confuses me so much because like you see her like fight these ninjas, like these ninja guys, she beats them, and then she sees like her father's being taken in the building, which is like a real building in real life, and in this world, in the real world of this show, and then like you see her go back into the game world, you see her go into the building in the game world, and then she puts this, and then you see her get surrounded by ninjas, and then she put the sword away, and then you see her in the real world surrounded by like evil security guards. And my only thought was, okay, I am so confused right now. When she was fighting those ninjas earlier, why didn't this guy see her she disappears, like they make this clear, she disappears into the game world when she takes their sword out. So like do these people represent like real people in the real world? Like, this is just such a weird and bizarre storyline. I'm actually kind of invested in this, because I just want an episode where they sit these characters down and explain what the hell is going on with this power, because this power is just out of its goddamn mind at the moment. So, but yeah, besides that though, I kind of like the friendship between the ninja girl and the gamer guy. I thought that was kind of, they also had some fun, nice interplay with each other. But yeah, and the episode ends, just don't expect like a really big cliffhanger, just because the episode just stops. And so that was the premiere of Heroes Reborn. On the whole, I liked one storyline. I liked the teenage boy storyline. I thought was pretty good. The ninja girl gamer guy story was so weird, I kind of got into it because I just want to know where it goes. Every other Noah Bennett storyline was okay-ish, and all the other storylines I thought were terrible this episode. So I'd say this premiere was okay. Would I recommend this? Okay, well, if you're not a fan of Heroes, I would say don't watch this. Just watch the first 2 seasons of Heroes and just tell yourself it ended after the 2nd season. That was it. Fans of Heroes, if we're hoping that this will be the glorious comeback to the show's glory days, it's really not. This was an okay premiere. Maybe it will get better. Maybe it will get better over the 13 episodes, but it needs to do it quick. It can't drag on for too long. Like, I mean, I think that's asking a lot of people, considering how bad the show ended up becoming before it finally died out, to, like, be patient with this show. This show needs a faster pace right now. It needs more heroes. It needs more people with superpowers. God damn it. And, yeah, so, if you're a fan of Heroes, maybe you watch it if you want. If you really just want to see the continuation. Everyone else, haven't seen it, just watch the first 2 seasons, or just don't watch it. That's all I gotta say at the moment for this show. Maybe it'll get better as the week goes on, but YouTube, as always, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.